Hi, my name is Reverend Edwin Guy. I'm the pastor of Victory Christian Tabernacle and Galilee Baptist Church in Brooklyn, New York. These next couple of videos are somewhat sensitive, and I'm assuming and that everyone that listens to these videos are adults, and if you are not, then you need to turn this this video off because I'm going to deal with some things in this and a couple that are to come with some adult type topics or subjects. And in this particular one, uh, I'm talking about unfaithfulness. The fact of the matter is that it's when one is unfaithful in a relationship, there are so many different reasons and causes for it, and that's not what we are going to be talking about here. Uh, the fact is that there is there's no there's no use in me saying that there's no reason for unfaithfulness, because if you have been unfaithful, you found a reason. It may not be a good reason to me or to your spouse or to your fiance, but it was a reason for you. That's not what I want to address here. You can certainly reach out to me on our website, and if you look on our website, you'll see how to do that in our prayer request area comments. You can put them in there. What I do want to deal with today in terms of unfaithfulness is simply the fact that when you when you are in a relationship and someone has been unfaithful, or if you're in a relationship and you've been unfaithful, the fact of the matter is that it's a very, very, very difficult thing to come back from. You need to understand that it certainly is not impossible to overcome and to be forgiven for unfaithfulness. But why find out? It's also not impossible to forgive someone for being unfaithful. The fact is that, but God knows that it takes a special character. Not everyone can be that forgiving. There is the intimacy of marriage is one that is not only assumed, but it is in fact implicit, because during the marriage vows, certainly the marriage vows that we use, we certainly declare that you certainly declare to one another that you will be faithful. Keep only unto yourself between you two, from a relationship, from a physical relationship perspective. And so when one becomes unfaithful, it can be devastating. I had heard someone say that in response to dealing with a spouse that was unfaithful, that they said that they wore out their spouse, uh, and so that they didn't have the strength or the energy to have any extracurricular activities. Um, I smiled then, but I never forgot it. If you really want your relationship to work, and if you can, in your heart and mind, and up to now, I haven't, though I am a Christian man and have Christian values, obviously, I've tried to keep these videos as generic as possible for those that may not be believers but still want their relationship to work. I will say, when it comes to unfaithfulness, it takes a special something. And don't think because you're a Christian that you're supposed to be automatically forgiven by your spouse or by your mate. The fact is that God does forgive us, and we thank Him for that forgiveness. But the fact of the matter is that when if you've been unfaithful, you you have violated your word to God and to your mate, and it's a difficult thing to come back from. Not impossible, but just very difficult. With respect to unfaithfulness, it is something that, uh, as I was saying, I don't normally. I'm trying to keep these videos somewhat generic, but if you're not a religious person, certainly unfaithfulness will draw you closer to God. If you are the one that uh, wants to wants to forgive, but find it just so painful on the inside, you will. I would urge you to get closer to God through prayer and begin to ask Him to soften your heart. And if you are the one who was unfaithful, you've got a lot of work to do. And again, I'm talking to both women and men. If you've been unfaithful in your relationship, you have pretty much uh, given up all of your cards, so to speak. You really have to go the extra mile, and at the top of that list is to is to is never to do it again. The fact is that unfaithfulness is one of the most difficult things to come back for. In the video that we did on resentment, I said that there was one exception, and unfaithfulness is that one exception to to exception in the sense that it's difficult not to be resentful if your spouse has been unfaithful. The fact of the matter is that it's not impossible to overcome. And this is where I want to close in this particular video. It's not impossible. The fact is that many people have overcome some level of infidelity in their relationships, and they have made it, and they have been able to work through it. There are all sorts of reasons why people get into that, become unfaithful, none of which we are dealing with here, and none of which we are justifying by no means, but simply to say that all of which can be forgiven, all of which you can overcome. But again, both of you need to sit down and either with outside help or amongst yourselves and really work through that type of issue. We certainly pray that if you are dealing with that type of situation, to the extent that we can be of any help, we'd be more than glad to. That being said, just know that you need to trust in the Lord in that particular case to give you the strength to deal with that type of situation. Unfaithfulness is just a devastation to a relationship, and so don't try to find out if your spouse or your boyfriend is strong enough to forgive you. Bypass that entire situation and do it now by if you are feeling a sense of straying, then begin now to work on whatever you have to do, including contacting your pastor or some professional, or reaching out to me even to help you to try to navigate through that, because it just can be devastating to a relationship. Know that my prayers are with you, both to the unfaithful and to the victim of the unfaithfulness. But as a relationship, you can still make it. God is able to do above and beyond all that we can ask or think. And so even when it comes to unfaithfulness, He's still able to make peace and make it so that your relationship does not have to die as a result of it. God bless you. We'll see you in the next video.